My beloved child, you must not overlook these words, for it is through them that I will bless you. These are not passing words meant to soothe momentary emotions, nor are they empty comforts offered when your heart feels weak. Every word I speak carries intention. Each one is placed with care to reach the deepest places of your soul, places you yourself have sometimes been afraid to face. When you listen with a softened and humble heart, these words will become strength that lifts you when you fall, light that guides you when you are confused, and peace that settles you when fear tries to take hold. You have walked through long seasons of waiting, enough to understand that not every change arrives with noise or spectacle. Some of the most profound turning points begin in silence, where no one but you and I know what is being sown. And now you are standing at that very threshold. The days ahead will not be a simple extension of the past. They will mark a true transition so deep that when you look back, you will realize the former version of yourself no longer has a place to return to. What I am about to do is not a gentle adjustment, but a reshaping. The first change I want you to prepare your heart to receive is an inner shift. You will no longer see the world through old eyes, nor respond according to familiar patterns. The things that once unsettled you will gradually lose their power, not because the circumstances outside have become easier, but because within you a new foundation has been established. I will place within you a steadiness that does not come from controlling everything, but from a deep trust that I am present in every step you take. You will learn not to panic in the face of uncertainty, for your soul will begin to recognize a subtle guidance you once easily missed. The second change will touch the relationships around you. Some connections will naturally fall away, not because of bitterness or conflict, but because they no longer move in the same rhythm as you. You will realize that not everyone who once walked with you is called to continue into this next stretch. This may bring a moment of sadness, but understand this: the separation is not a loss, it is a release. As unsuitable ties are gently undone, space will open for new people to enter your life, relationships built on respect, sincerity, and a shared orientation toward the light. Do not cling out of fear of loneliness. I am preparing for you a new community where you can be fully yourself without needing to stay guarded. The third change will directly affect the path you walk and the purpose you pursue. Old plans you once held tightly may no longer open the way you expected, not because they were wrong, but because they have fulfilled their role in a season that has passed. I will lead you toward new opportunities, doors you never dared to knock on before because you did not yet believe you were capable of entering. This time, I will not only open the door, I will also equip you with the courage to step through it. You will no longer be driven by fear of failure, but by the conviction that I have gone before you. Throughout this process, you may feel as though you are standing between two worlds, one where the familiar is slowly closing, and another where the new has not yet taken shape. This is the in-between place where many turn back out of unease. But I tell you, it is precisely here that your faith is refined. Do not rush to seek certainty by returning to what is old. Allow me to teach you how to stand firm, even when you cannot yet see the whole picture. My child, I know you have grown weary from cycles of hope followed by disappointment, and you have wondered whether you misunderstood the calling you heard. But what is about to unfold will leave no room for doubt. You will recognize the consistency in the way I lead you, the remarkable alignment between moments that once seemed disconnected in the past. Every experience, even the wounds you once wished had never happened, will begin to reveal its meaning. You will see that no tear was forgotten, and no prayer was ever lost in the void. I do not say that the road ahead will be without challenges, but these challenges will not come to break you. They will come to show you how much you have grown. You will be surprised to find yourself responding differently, more calmly, more deeply, no longer swept away by temporary disturbances. This is the sign that the quiet work I have been doing within you all this time is now bearing fruit. So, my beloved child, keep your heart awake and attentive. Do not let distraction, fear, or the noise of the world cause you to miss this moment. Listen not only with your ears, but with your entire life. When you choose to trust and walk with me, you will see that the blessings I have prepared will not only change your circumstances, but will transform you yourself in the deepest and most lasting way. And when that transformation is complete, you will understand why I called you to pause, to listen, and not to overlook these words. My beloved child, let your soul grow very still, deeper even than the thoughts that are swirling through your mind right now. Do not rush to understand with impatient reasoning, and do not try to control this sacred moment. I am calling you to pause, not because you have gone the wrong way, but because you have walked for so long without taking time to lay your heart down in my presence. Let the unseen burdens fall from your shoulders, the expectations you placed upon yourself, the voices that are not mine, the pressures you carry out of fear of disappointing others. This is the hour when I desire you to listen not with physical ears, but with a soul that has been tempered through many seasons of sun and rain. I am your God, the one who called your name before you knew who you were. The voice you hear now is not a passing breeze that can be swept away by the noise of ordinary life. This is not advice to be weighed and then dismissed. This is a summons that carries the weight of eternity, a holy appointment set long before you arrived at this moment. I have led you through many turns and many shadowed paths, not to exhaust you, but to mature you enough to stand steady when I speak. From this moment forward, the current of your life will not return to its former shape. For whatever I begin always carries transformation within it. You do not see all the movements unfolding around you. But know this, the heavens are not silent. A deep operation is being activated on your behalf, not because you are perfect, but because you chose to remain even while your heart trembled. What I have appointed will not be hindered by delay, nor bent by circumstance. Even now, as you read and listen, the atmosphere of your life is being prepared anew. What once felt heavy will begin to lighten. What was unclear will start to come into view. And doors you believed were firmly closed will open in ways you did not expect. I do not work in randomness as humans imagine. I do not place your life on a table of chance. Everything I do flows from purpose, is woven by design, and is upheld by covenant. My covenant with you is not like the fragile promises you once heard and then watched fail. It is a commitment signed by my own name, one not faded by time, not shaken by adversity. When I say I am with you, it does not depend on your emotions that day, nor on whether you feel strong or weak. You must understand this. I have seen you in places you have not yet set foot. While you wrestle with the present, I am already standing in your future, preparing what you will need. When you doubted yourself, I already knew who you would become after passing through those trials. I have not turned away from your tears. I have counted every one, not as a distant observer, but as a father who remembers each ache of your heart. No sorrow has been dismissed, no long night has been forgotten. There were moments when you believed your suffering was meaningless, that you endured too much for too little in return. But I tell you, not a single moment was wasted. What you thought was taken from you has been preparing you for greater capacity. If I were to release glory before you had depth, it would break you. So I allowed you to pass through seasons of refining, not to diminish you, but to expand your inner life until it could carry what I have ordained. You have learned to rise after falling, to remain silent where you once would have reacted, to release what you once would have clung to. None of this is accidental. These are signs that you are being moved from a child in faith into a mature soul. And in that maturity, I can entrust you with matters deeper and broader beyond what you ever dared to ask. Do not fear when you feel as though you are standing between two stages, no longer fully belonging to the past, yet not clearly seeing the future. That in-between space is not empty. It is holy ground where I reshape you. There, old definitions of who you are will fall away, and a stronger, truer identity will begin to form. You are not losing yourself. You are being found in your most authentic form. My beloved child, let this word sink deep into your soul. I did not call you here to abandon you halfway. What I begin, I will complete. What I promise, I will fulfill. And when you look back on the road you have traveled, you will understand that every tear, every pain, every season of waiting helped prepare you for the glory to which I am leading you. Be still and trust, for my hand remains upon your life, and what lies ahead is far greater than anything you ever believed you deserved to receive. Now, my beloved child, open your heart wide and listen fully, for what I am about to reveal is not made up of small, passing shifts that can be easily overlooked. 3 great waves of transformation are moving toward your life, carrying the weight of foundations, of core identity, of a reshaping that reaches all the way to the roots. They do not come to adjust a few outer details, but to change the very way you stand and live in this world. You thought you were waiting for them, but the truth is the opposite. They have been waiting for you, waiting until your soul was mature enough to no longer fear change. And that moment has now arrived. Not tomorrow, not when everything feels more perfect, but right now, in this very moment as you read and allow these words to touch the deepest places within you. The first shift and the foundation for everything that will follow will take place within your very identity. You have grown accustomed to seeing yourself through distorted lenses, shaped by pain, by rejection, by failures you never fully forgave yourself for. For many years, you have carried labels that I never placed upon you, names others gave you when they did not understand, hurried conclusions they reached when they saw only a small fragment of your story. At times, simply to survive, you accepted roles that did not reflect who you truly are. You learned to stay silent when you longed to speak, to make yourself smaller so as not to disturb others, to smile while inwardly you were breaking apart. But, my child, none of these things have ever defined you in my eyes. Now I am gently yet decisively removing from you every mask, every false title, every mold you have used to protect yourself. This may leave you feeling exposed, even confused, because you have lived for so long in shapes that were not truly yours. Yet I tell you this, only when those outer shells fall away can you breathe freely with your own soul. You were not created to live as a supporting character in your own life, nor were you born to carry the burden of distorted definitions. I am giving you a new name, not a title to boast about, but a deep recognition of who you truly are. This name does not come from the mouth of the world. It is not governed by achievement or failure, nor does it shift with the changing emotions of others. It is spoken from my own mouth and engraved upon your soul from before you were able to understand such things. As you begin to hear and believe this name, the way you see yourself will change. You will no longer stand before the mirror seeing only what is lacking, but will begin to recognize the worth that has already been placed within you. This transformation will not remain confined to your thoughts. It will flow into the way you walk, the way you speak, the way you choose. You will no longer easily accept what wounds you simply because you fear being abandoned. You will no longer feel compelled to prove your value by pleasing everyone. When your identity is anchored in me, you will realize that you do not need to compete for a place. Your place has already been prepared. You will not need to shout in order to be seen. The light within you will be recognized naturally. There may be moments in this season when you feel disoriented, as though you have lost your sense of direction, because what once felt familiar no longer fits. Do not be afraid of this feeling. It is not a sign that you are lost, but a sign that you are leaving old frameworks behind. When you are no longer bound by outdated labels, you will have space to explore new depths within yourself. You will begin to ask different questions, not who must I become to be accepted, but how am I called to live in alignment with the truth within me, my beloved child. This shift in identity will require more courage than you might expect. Courage to say no to what once defined you incorrectly. Courage to step away from relationships that existed only because of an older version of you. Courage to accept that you are growing, and that not everyone will understand or celebrate that growth. But I want you to know this: every step you take in truth will be upheld. I do not call you out of darkness only to abandon you in blinding light. I will walk with you through every transition, every moment in which you learn to stand firm in your renewed identity. And when this first shift is firmly established, you will begin to notice something wondrous. The past will no longer pull you backward, and fear will no longer decide your future. The wounds that once whispered that you were not enough will gradually lose their voice. In their place, you will hear more clearly my gentle yet steadfast call, reminding you of who you are and where you belong. This is not arrogance, but deep rest, resting in the truth that you are known. You are loved, and you are called by name. Keep your heart open to this transformation. My child, do not rush back to old definitions simply because they feel familiar. I am doing a work deeper than what your eyes can see, and the new identity I am forming within you will be the foundation for all the greater things that await ahead. When you stand firmly in the name I give you, you will no longer fear what is coming. For you will know that you are not merely being changed, you are being restored to who you were always created to be. My beloved child, there will come a morning when you open your eyes and realize that something within you has changed. Not because all the circumstances around you have suddenly become perfect, but because a light has been switched on within your inner being. The haze that once clouded your thoughts will dissolve like morning mist before the sun. You will no longer wake up with the feeling that you must strain yourself just to survive. Nor will you begin the day weighed down by heavy questions about your worth. Instead, you will rise with a rare clarity. You will know who you are, and you will know where you belong. The things that once caused you to doubt yourself will no longer hold the same power over you. You will look back on your life and recognize a profound truth. You were never merely someone who was broken. The cracks within you were not signs of failure, but places where the light found a way in. You were never forgotten on the margins of this greater story. Even in seasons when you felt lost, I was quietly positioning you exactly where you needed to be. You are loved not because you accomplished something extraordinary, but because that love existed long before you could prove or justify your existence. You were appointed, called by name, entrusted with a role that no one else can replace. When this truth settles into your soul, you will no longer shrink back under the gaze of others. You will no longer enter a room fearing that you are not good enough, not worthy enough, not important enough. A new vitality will rise within you, the presence of my spirit, like a fire that smolders and then ignites. That fire is not aggressive or showy, yet it cannot be hidden. It radiates through your eyes, through the way you listen, through the steady peace in each of your movements. Others may not be able to name what they sense, but they will know that you are no longer the person you were yesterday. You will walk differently, not because you are trying to appear strong, but because you no longer bow to the things that once terrified you. Your words will carry a new weight, not loudness or force, but authority that flows from truth. You will speak without trembling. You will raise your voice without seeking permission from fear. There was a time when you believed you had nothing to say, that your voice was too small among so many others. But I tell you this, the enemy tried to silence you through shame, through whispered lies that said you were unqualified. Now, those chains are being loosened. I have unlocked your voice with truth. That truth is not merely an idea, it is a living power. When you speak from a place that has been healed, your words will touch the hidden places in the hearts of others. When you tell your story without concealment, the pain that once made you ashamed will become a key that opens doors to freedom for someone else. You will discover that the very things you wanted to hide are the things I will use to bring light into places that are still dark. You will become an instrument not because you are perfect, but because you are willing. I will place my words in your mouth, my light in your life, and my compassion in the way you engage with the world. You will not need to persuade anyone about me. The way you live will be testimony enough. Others will look at you and sense something beyond human ability. They will be moved, not by your talent or personality, but because they encounter my presence through you. You will become a mirror that reflects light, not keeping it for yourself, but allowing it to spread. Do not be surprised when the past you once tried to bury begins to be spoken of in a different way. The memories that once pierced you with pain will no longer rise to condemn you, but to testify to your transformation. The barren ground of loss, betrayal, and disappointment will become the very place where your greatest purpose blooms. I do not erase your past, I redeem it. I turn what once stood against you into the foundation of what I am now building. You will begin to understand that no season of your life was wasted. Even in the years when you thought you were wandering in circles, standing still, or falling behind, I was still sowing. The seeds buried deep in darkness are now rising with strength, having been nourished by tears and perseverance. You will look back and realize that without those seasons, you would not have had the depth required to carry the calling you are now stepping into. My beloved child, this transformation does not come to make you proud, but to make you free, free from the fear of being judged, free from the need to prove your worth, free to love without guarding yourself, to serve without calculation, to walk without carrying the burden of false definitions. You will learn to stand upright, not because you are above others, but because you no longer bow to lies. And as you enter this new chapter, you will understand that I was never in a hurry. Everything arrives at the appointed time when you are strong enough not to be destroyed by what I give, and humble enough to know that every good thing flowing through you has its source in me. Trust me, my child. Walk in this new clarity, for you are not only being healed, you are being sent. And in the very place you once believed was the end, I am bringing forth a beginning you never dared to imagine. My beloved child, now I want you to widen your vision not merely with your intellect, but with a faith that has been refined through long seasons of waiting. The second change I am about to bring into your life will touch the very area you have worried about the most: provision. But before your thoughts turn to money, resources, or specific figures. I want you to understand the true nature of what I am saying. I am not a God who operates out of fear of lack. I do not build your life on a foundation of scarcity or limitation. My nature is abundance, and when you belong to me, you no longer live as one who begs for small portions, but as an heir learning how to receive an inheritance. You have grown accustomed to measuring my ability by your circumstances. You look at your bank account, the opportunities before you, your work history, qualifications, or background, and then you draw boundaries around your future. But hear me, my child, those measurements have never bound me. I am not limited by where you were born, the path you have walked, or the mistakes you have made. These things may limit human systems, but they have never limited my kingdom. When I choose to provide, I do not ask where you stand in the social order. I look only at the covenant I have made with you. You have lived too long in a state of just enough to survive. You learn to tighten, calculate, and worry ahead, not because you were greedy, but because you feared there would be nothing to hold on to tomorrow. I do not blame you for this. I know that seasons of lack taught you to be cautious, but I tell you now that season is coming to an end. I am not calling you into abundance so that you may waste it or become proud, but so that you may stop living with a mindset of scarcity. I want to heal, at the root, the fear that if you do not provide for yourself, protect yourself, and store up for yourself, you will be abandoned. In my kingdom, provision is not merely money flowing into your hands. It is pathways opening at the right time, opportunities appearing when you thought you had reached the bottom, doors opening that you did not knock on. It is encounters with people who carry solutions, ideas, and support that you could never create on your own. I am opening the windows of heaven, not just one, but many. This means provision will come to you in multiple forms, from multiple directions, far beyond what you have been accustomed to imagining. You will be surprised to see me stirring people who are willing to bless you, even those who have never known who you are. There are hearts I am awakening and decisions I am influencing, so that generosity flows toward you naturally. You may wonder why someone would help you, why an opportunity arrives so easily, why a door opens at the very moment you need it most. I tell you, this is not luck, nor coincidence. It is the quiet operation of grace, the outcome of seeds you sowed in seasons when you thought nothing would ever return to you. I know there were times when you gave even while you yourself were lacking. You shared while your own heart was still aching. You chose faithfulness in small things, even when no one saw or acknowledged it. You thought those things disappeared into nothingness, but I have kept them all. Not a single act of love is forgotten. Not one upright decision falls into emptiness. Now those seeds are reaching their time to bloom, and the harvest will be greater than you ever imagined, for it will not only restore, but also expand. This change in provision will also require a change in how you receive. You will need to learn to no longer shrink back when you are given to, no longer feel undeserving. I do not bless you because you have reached a certain standard, but because you are my child. When you reject blessing out of shame, you unknowingly reject my heart. Learn to receive with gratitude, not in pride, but in humble understanding that every good gift has its source in me. You will also learn that the abundance I give is not meant only to keep you safe. When you are freed from the fear of lack, you will become more open, more generous in giving. You will no longer give under pressure or to prove anything, but because you know you are not running dry. I am not seeking to turn you into a reservoir. but into a flow. And when you allow provision to pass through you to others, you will see that the flow does not diminish, it grows stronger. My beloved child, in this season, you may need to learn again how to trust me at a deeper level, trusting not only when you have nothing, but also when you begin to have more. Trusting so that you do not return to old patterns of fear, of hoarding merely to protect yourself. Trusting so that you walk in wisdom, stewarding what I place in your hands without letting it rule your heart. I do not want provision to become a new idol. I want it to be a tool that serves the purpose I have set upon your life. Then you will look back and realize that I have not only changed your standard of living, but the way you see the source of life itself. You will no longer wake up with a constant anxiety about tomorrow. You will begin to plan with hope rather than caution. You will dare to dream bigger dreams, not because you trust your own ability, but because you have seen how faithful I am in the smallest things. Allow this change to take place. My child, do not suffocate it with old fears. Do not doubt when you see me working beyond the frameworks you once knew. I am teaching you to live as an heir, not as a survivor. And as you step into this new provision, you will understand that I am not only meeting your needs, I am preparing you to become a blessing to many others. In my kingdom, you do not live in lack. You live in fullness that flows from my love, my purpose, and my presence that never runs dry. Beloved child, what was once hidden from your sight is now being gently unveiled, not with noise or display, but within a new order, being established quietly and firmly. The abundance you once believed was meant for others, which you assumed lay beyond the reach of your own life, no longer stands at that distant remove. It is moving toward you now, not to test your faithfulness, but to respond to the years in which you learned how to stand steady in lack without surrendering your integrity. I do not bring abundance as a temptation. I bring it as a tool to fulfill the greater purpose I planted in your life from the beginning. You once feared fullness not because you did not desire it, but because you worried it might change you in ways you never wanted. You saw people lose themselves when they had too much, and in the quiet of your heart you vowed that it was better to lack than to trade away your soul. I heard that fear, and I tell you now, you do not need to fear abundance. You were not created to struggle for survival all your life, nor were you born merely to scrape by from one day to the next. I formed you with the capacity to steward, with vision to build, and with a heart soft enough that wealth would never become your master. I will teach you how to hold what I place in your hands, not through harsh control, nor through fear of loss, but through wisdom refined by intimate relationship with me. Your hands will learn how to receive without greed, and how to give without fear of running dry. You will understand that stewardship is not only about preserving, but about knowing when to sow, when to wait, when to expand, and when to pause. In every decision, I will lead you by peace, not by the pressure to succeed quickly. You will become a channel through which blessing is distributed, not because you seek that title, but because the flow I place within you cannot be contained for yourself alone. Streams of hope, of practical help, of restored opportunity will move through your life to reach others. You will find yourself in the right place at the right time, meeting the right people, not to display abundance, but to address real needs. You will no longer give from a sense of obligation or fear that giving will leave you lacking. You will give from the freedom of one who knows exactly where their source comes from. You will not merely survive the shifts of the times. You will begin to build. And building is not only about erecting visible structures, it is about creating systems capable of sustaining life over the long term. You will plant and sow seeds with a vision that reaches beyond immediate profit. You will restore what was once abandoned, not only land, projects, or enterprises, but people who were discarded by broken systems. You will take part in renewal, not by tearing everything down, but by breathing new life into what once seemed worn out and useless. I will grant you ideas that move beyond familiar patterns of thinking. These ideas will not come while you strain to search for them, but in moments when you are near me, when your heart is quiet enough to listen. They will carry creativity, but also responsibility. You will come to see that not every good idea must be acted on immediately. Some must be incubated in prayer, tested in humility, and released at the proper time. I will teach you to discern the difference between impulse and true leading. The investments you engage in will not be measured by profit alone, but by impact. You will learn to see beyond numbers, to recognize the people behind the projects, the communities behind the markets. The partnerships I bring into your life will not be built on human cleverness, but on shared values and aligned purpose. You will discover that the right collaboration does not diminish your identity, but expands your influence in ways that are healthy and enduring. I will also entrust you with creative blueprints that the world cannot easily replicate, because they are not born from fear of competition or hunger for accumulation. They are conceived in communion with my spirit. For that reason, they carry something humanity cannot manufacture on its own: resilience that endures through testing. This does not mean you will face no difficulties. It means that what I begin through you will not collapse easily when adversity comes. Beloved child, the abundance I am opening to you is not merely an answer to the years in which you lacked. It is preparation for greater responsibility. When you have more, you will need a wider heart. When your influence grows, you will need deeper humility. I will not allow you to enter abundance alone. I will walk with you, shape you, correct you when necessary, and draw you close when you are at risk of forgetting your source. You will learn to enjoy the good things I give without allowing them to take my place in your heart. You will learn to use wealth without allowing wealth to use you. And in that process, you will understand that true richness is not found in how much you possess, but in how free you are to hold and to give. I do not grant abundance to separate you from others, but to make you a bridge, a place where grace flows in tangible, visible ways. Receive this season with trust. My child, do not shrink back because of old fears. Do not doubt when you see me enlarging the territory of your life. I know you have walked through seasons of lack long enough to never take lightly anything I place in your hands. Now, step forward as one entrusted, not as one who begs. Build with vision, plant with patience, restore with compassion, and innovate with creativity that flows from my spirit. For through your life, I am not merely providing, I am making my kingdom visible and alive in the midst of this world. My beloved child, allow your heart to grow quiet long enough to perceive what I am doing. For the work I am carrying out in this season is not loud, yet it is profoundly deep. I am undertaking a root-level purification within your inner circle, a work that requires precision, patience, and a love that is firm and discerning. Not everyone who stands close to you has been appointed for the long journey ahead. Some familiar faces once brought you a sense of safety, but their presence now only distracts you from where I am leading you. Some relationships are not wrong in themselves, yet they have completed their purpose in a former season. And there are connections which, though clothed in goodwill, quietly pull you away from the focus I have placed within your heart. I want you to understand that closeness does not always mean alignment. Some people enter your life to fill a temporary gap. Some come to teach you a lesson, and some remain to walk with you for the long haul. If you hold on to all of them without discernment, you will carry burdens that are not yours to bear. Therefore, I am doing what is difficult for you to do on your own. I am rearranging. I am sorting. I am gently yet decisively placing each relationship in its rightful position within the story of your life. There will be moments when you realize that certain people are simply distractions. They harbor no ill intent, yet their presence consumes the energy, time, and attention you need to devote to what matters most. You have felt drained after being near them, and you have wondered why your heart felt heavy without a clear reason. This is not because you lack love, but because your soul is signaling that something no longer fits. I do not condemn those people. I simply do not allow them to continue occupying a place they were never called to hold. There are also subtler connections, relationships that carry advice, concern, even the appearance of protection, yet quietly sow doubt about the very calling I have placed within you. They cause you to hesitate, to question what I have spoken, to shrink your vision out of fear of risk. I call these misdirected assignments, sent not to destroy you outright, but to slow you down, weary you, and gradually dull your spiritual sensitivity. I do not leave you to face this alone. Because I love you, I am dismantling these connections, even if you do not yet fully understand why. And then there are relationships that were once beautiful, once right, but only for a season. You walked with them through meaningful stretches of the road, sharing joy, tears, and growth. But now that season has come to a close. If you try to carry them into the new journey, both you and they will become stuck between two chapters. I do not deny the value of what once was. I honor the history you have lived, but I will not allow memories to become chains that bind you to a place where I am no longer leading you. I know that letting go will hurt. You are not unfeeling, nor do I desire you to become cold. The pain you feel is not a sign that you are doing something wrong. It is a sign that you truly cared. But trust me in this, I do not take away merely to create emptiness. I remove in order to replace. I prune so that you may have space to grow. A tree cannot rise tall if dead or diseased branches are kept out of sentiment. During this process of purification, you may feel lonelier than before. Familiar conversations will fade. Messages that once came regularly will fall silent. I know you will sometimes wonder whether you have done something wrong. But remember, this silence is not punishment. It is the necessary stillness for me to introduce new sounds into your life. I am not pulling you away from community. I am preparing you for deeper and healthier connections, relationships that do not require you to pretend or to make yourself smaller. You will begin to notice this as those who no longer fit step away. Your soul grows lighter. You breathe more deeply. You hear my voice more clearly. You no longer have to explain yourself endlessly or remain in constant defense. That peace does not come from everyone agreeing with you, but from no longer being stretched between conflicting expectations. I am bringing you into a rhythm of life that matches the new identity I am forming within you. My beloved child, do not try to hold on to what I am gently loosening. Do not chase after relationships that are naturally coming to an end. When you do, you only prolong the pain. Allow me to do the work of the wise gardener. I know exactly which branches must remain, which must be pruned, and when the time is right, you do not need to understand everything in order to obey. You only need to trust that I see the whole picture. I promise you that after this purification, you will not be left abandoned. The people I bring into your life will not compete with my voice within you. They will confirm and support it. They will not exploit your sensitivity, but will honor the boundaries you are learning to establish. They will not fear the light I have placed in you, but will rejoice to stand near it. These relationships may be fewer in number, but deeper in substance and more resilient against opposing winds. You may one day look back and be surprised at how far you have come simply by letting go at the right time. You will understand that not every loss is a defeat. Some things must leave so that you do not carry excess weight into a new journey. And when you stand in the space that has been purified, you will have room for what I am preparing to give, not only new people, but a new mission, new responsibilities, and a deeper level of intimacy with me. Trust me, my child, when I prune, I do not wound the roots. When I take away, I do not abandon you. I am protecting the life within you, safeguarding your future, and preserving what I planted in your soul long ago. Let me do my work. You remain in obedience and peace, and you will see in this very act of letting go, you are not becoming smaller, you are growing in ways you never imagined possible. My beloved child, listen with a heart that has grown still enough to discern between true light and faint reflections. There were things you once called love, yet when you look back through the lens of healing, you will recognize that they were only imperfect copies of what I had already prepared for you long before. They were not connections that nourished your soul, but bonds woven from the fear of abandonment, from the longing to be affirmed, from habit rather than true union. I do not blame you for the confusion. I understand that you learned how to love in places of lack, but now I am inviting you to step out of the shadow of those false attachments and into the depth of real love, the kind of love that does not make you shrink, but allows you to grow in peace. I am sending connections from heaven into your life. They will not arrive with noise or display, but they will carry the gentle weight of truth. These are people who carry my spirit within them, those who know how to speak honestly without wounding, how to love without possessing, how to walk beside you without competing. They do not come to fill emptiness through dependence, but to stand with you in freedom. They will not require you to become another version of yourself in order to be accepted. Their very presence will affirm the identity I have placed within you. These connections will speak truth, even when that truth calls you to change. Yet it will not feel like condemnation, it will feel like care. They will see potential in you that you have not yet dared to name, and they will not fear the light within you. They will not be threatened by the calling you carry, nor will they measure their steps against yours or seek to prove themselves greater or lesser. Instead, they understand that when each person stands in the place appointed to them, the work I entrust will be fulfilled more completely. You will recognize the difference in small but telling ways. Conversations will no longer drain your energy. Silence will no longer provoke anxiety. Disagreement will no longer lead to distance. There will be a unity woven from the inside out, from spirit to emotion, and then into daily life. This unity does not erase individuality. It honors boundaries. It does not ask you to betray your conscience to keep the peace. Rather, it strengthens your conscience so that both may grow. Within the connections I send, you will learn how to love without betraying yourself. You will learn to trust without becoming blind, to give without being depleted, to receive without feeling diminished. Those I send will not trigger old wounds to control you. They will help you see those wounds so they may be healed. They will not use ambiguity to keep you bound. They will offer clarity so that you may choose freely. And it is within that freedom that love truly takes root. There will be a subtle adjustment in how you define closeness. You will no longer confuse intensity with depth. drama with passion, or unconditional sacrifice with the loss of self. True love does not need pain to prove its worth. It is steady, patient, and full of light. It does not leave you questioning your value each day. It reminds you of that value even when you are weary. It does not imprison you in the past. It opens the future through healthy choices. My child, I know there are quiet longings within your heart that you rarely dare to speak aloud. For some of you, yes, the desire for a covenant partner, a holy union built on reverence for me, mutual respect, and shared purpose, will be fulfilled. This will not come to compensate for old lacks, but to build with you a life marked by order and enduring joy. I do not bring someone to complete you. I bring someone to complete the work I have entrusted to you together. That person will not compete with your calling, nor will they require you to dim your light so they may feel secure. They will know how to stand beside you in humility, how to lift you when you are weak, and how to allow you to lift them when they are in need. This unity will not be mere emotional exhilaration, but agreement in decisions, in rhythm of life, in the stewardship of time, resources, and calling. Two free souls meeting in truth will form a strength that is gentle yet enduring. For those who have not entered a covenant of partnership, I am also giving deep connections through friendship, community, and shared labor. These bonds will heal the sense of isolation you once carried. You will no longer stand alone in the crowd. You will find those who share the same heartbeat, those who understand that unity does not mean sameness, but a shared direction toward a higher purpose. Within that unity, you will be encouraged to remain faithful in small things, courageous in difficult ones, and steadfast on the long road. I also want you to know that the connections I send are not meant to replace your relationship with me. They are meant to strengthen it. They will not draw you away from the source. They will remind you to return. When you fall out of rhythm, they will love you enough to speak. When you are discouraged, they will stay long enough for you to rise again. Their presence will confirm that you do not walk alone, that the work I entrust is not a solitary burden, but a journey upheld by grace. My beloved child, open your heart, yet keep discernment. Do not hastily label every strong emotion as destiny. Watch the fruit of each connection over time. The fruit of peace, clarity, and steady growth does not lie. Do not fear when some old connections fade as new ones arrive. This is not betrayal, but a new order being established. I do not take away to leave you empty. I replace so that you may be made whole. As you step into the connections I send, you will sense something profoundly different. You will not need to strive to belong. Belonging will come like breath, natural, secure, without the need to prove yourself. You will love without losing yourself. Commit without dependency. Unite without dissolving. And in all things, my name will be honored not through grand declarations, but through a life woven with truth, mercy, and faithfulness. Trust me in this season. My child, the connections from heaven are on their way at the right time, in the right way, with the right people. Keep your heart tender and walk in the light. For when you love according to my order, you will not only be comforted, you will be united. Not only accompanied, you will be sent. And not only loved, you will learn how to love in the depth of eternity. My beloved child, let your heart become still, truly still, until the urge to grip the reins of the future loosens its hold. I know there is something deeply human within you when faced with change. You want to understand ahead of time, prepare ahead of time, arrange everything in advance. even imagine every possible outcome. You believe that if you can control the process, you will hurt less, fear less, and be less caught off guard. But I speak to you now with a gentleness that is also firm. You were not called to control. You were called to obey. There are things that can only come to pass when you release your grip. Because as long as you hold on tightly, you will preserve only what is old and be unable to receive what is new. Your task is not to direct the story of your own life. You are not the author of the final script, nor the one who determines every scene. Your work is to place your life into right order, to straighten what has become crooked, to realign what has drifted, to soften your heart until it becomes teachable and yielded. When I speak, you listen. When I lead, you walk. When I stop, you remain. This is not weakness. It is the strength of one who knows where their support truly lies. The strongest person is not the one who controls everything, but the one who trusts enough to no longer need control. Set your life in alignment with my word, not only in great matters, but also in the small choices you make each day. Obedience does not always appear in dramatic decisions. Often it reveals itself in how you speak, how you respond, how you choose silence instead of self-defense, how you pause instead of rushing forward out of fear of being left behind. When you place your heart in a posture of surrender, you do not lose your voice, you recover the right voice. You are not erased. You are calibrated to reflect truth. Speak what I speak, even when it is not welcomed. Do not embellish my words to make them more pleasing, and do not soften them to avoid friction. Truth does not need decoration to carry power. Yet I do not call you to speak with harshness. I call you to speak in love, with compassion, with the humility of one who knows they themselves have been upheld. When you speak under my leading, you are not responsible for the reactions of others. You are responsible only for your faithfulness. Walk to where I lead, even when you cannot yet see the entire path. You are accustomed to wanting to see the destination before you set out. But faith does not operate that way. Faith places the foot down first, and then the light is given for the next step. You do not need to understand everything in order to obey. You need only know that I am with you. My presence does not promise that you will never be shaken, but it guarantees that you will not be destroyed. Yes, you must be ready for the shaking, not because I wish to frighten you, but because I do not want you to be confused when it comes. Anything not rooted in me will be shaken. Structures built on fear, on ego, on compromise, on false assumptions, none of these will endure. When they tremble and fall, do not be quick to think that I have abandoned you. On the contrary, this is a sign that I am protecting you from continuing to stand on foundations that cannot support your future. There will be doors that slam shut so quickly that you scarcely have time to grasp what just happened. I know your natural response is sorrow, regret, and the question of what you did wrong. But, my child, there are doors that must close, or you will never move forward. Do not mourn the doors I have closed. Do not return to knock when I have said, enough. That closing is not rejection. It is deliverance from paths that no longer lead to life. There will be people who leave your life. Some will go quietly, some through misunderstanding, some through painful fracture that cuts deep. Do not try to hold them with guilt or obligation. Do not chase after them to explain everything to completion. Some partings require no long explanations, for they are decided at a level deeper than reason. When I allow them to leave, you must let them go, not because you do not love, but because you honor the new order I am establishing. Holding on to those who no longer walk with you will only drain you and slow your steps. There will be plans that collapse, plans you prayed over, hoped for, and invested with time and emotion. When they fall apart, you will be tempted to gather the pieces and rebuild them in your own way, just slightly altered to avoid failure the next time. But I tell you, do not do this. Some things do not need repair, they need closure. When I allow a plan to fail, it is not because I have failed, but because I am leading you away from a path no longer aligned with your new identity and calling. In all of this, you will be tested not in your endurance, but in your trust. You must learn to distinguish between the pain of loss and the pain of resistance. Loss hurts, but resistance prolongs the wound. When you stop resisting what I am doing, pain will be transformed into release. You will discover that you are lighter, that your breathing is easier, that your hearing is clearer. My beloved child, I do not require you to understand every shaking in order to move forward. I ask only that you remain in obedience. Obedience does not diminish you. It opens the way for my power to move without obstruction. When you stop trying to do my part, I will do what only I can do. I will arrange. I will connect. I will make a way. I will heal. I will restore far beyond what your imagination can conceive. You may look around and feel that everything is changing faster than you can adapt. Remember this: what belongs to me will stand. What does not belong to me will depart. You do not need to fear losing what I did not give. You do not need to protect what I did not build. When you abide in me, you are in the safest place, even in the midst of shaking. Let me do my work. You do yours, obey. Listen, walk, and trust. Do not turn back in longing for what I have removed. Do not look sideways to compare your journey with another's. Every path has its own rhythm, and yours is being adjusted by me for a new season. The day will come when you look back and understand that these shakings did not destroy you, they freed you. The doors that closed kept you from dead ends. The people who left made room for the right connections. The plans that collapsed cleared the way for something greater, deeper, and truer. But this becomes clear only when you choose obedience over control. My beloved child, rest in this: I have not lost control. And when I reign, you no longer need to. Walk with open hands, a surrendered heart, and the confidence that though everything may shake, I remain the unmovable rock. In me, you are safe to let go. And in that letting go, you will find the new life already waiting ahead of you. My beloved child, let your heart settle and listen deeply. For what I am doing is unlike anything you have ever known or experienced. I am not patching together old fragments, nor am I repairing structures that have already cracked. I am creating something entirely new, a work not built on the memory of failure, nor anchored in the familiar standards of the world. What I am initiating does not arise from convenience, but from purpose. And because of this, do not be surprised when the road ahead is not carpeted with ease or decorated to make the journey comfortable. I am not calling you into comfort, I am calling you into glory. The glory I speak of is not the glare of a spotlight, nor the applause that makes you feel recognized. This glory carries a different weight, the weight of my presence resting upon your life. It will not always make you understood. At times, it may even cause you to be misunderstood. It does not guarantee that you will be loved by the crowd, but it does guarantee that you will be upheld by my hand. I am not calling you to popularity or widespread approval. I am calling you to the purpose I appointed long before you could even imagine who you would become. There will be seasons when you walk in obscurity, where your efforts are unseen and your faithfulness goes unacknowledged. You may wonder whether you are truly on the right path when there are few voices around you in agreement. But, my child, my way rarely aligns with the way of the majority. What I am forming within you requires depth, and depth is most often shaped in silence. I do not rush you into the light while your roots still need to grow deeper in me. You may not be celebrated, but you will be anointed, and that is what matters most. The anointing does not come to make you feel superior to others. It comes to make you useful in my hands. It does not produce pride. It sharpens your sensitivity to the pain of others. It does not lift you up to be seen. It places you where I can work through you. This anointing cannot be counterfeited, cannot be manufactured by human effort, and cannot be stripped away by the judgments of the world. It is this anointing that will open doors no one can shut, not because you are wiser, nor because you have more connections, but because what I have ordained cannot be hindered. These doors will not always look the way you once imagined. Sometimes they appear as an opportunity when you believe you have no options left. Sometimes they come as an invitation you never thought you were qualified to receive. But when the time arrives, you will recognize that no human strength can stand against what I have decided. The anointing I place upon you will also reach the deepest places where medicine, knowledge, and personal effort have reached their limits. There are things within you and around you that have been wounded for so long that you learn to live with them, accepting them as unchangeable parts of your life. But, my child, I do not make peace with brokenness. I am the restorer, and when my anointing moves, what doctors cannot repair will begin to heal, not always in the instant way you expect, but in a way that is lasting and profound. I will also restore what years of effort could never reach. There are dreams you set aside because they hurt too much. Parts of your soul you closed off because you grew weary. You tried. You prayed. You hoped, and then you were disappointed. I saw it all. And I tell you now that sense of helplessness was not the end. It was the place where you learned to stop relying on your own strength and begin relying on me. When you no longer have the strength to continue in the old way, I begin to open a new path, not built on your ability, but on my power. What I am building will require courage from you. Courage to keep walking when few understand you. Courage to remain faithful when results have not yet appeared. Courage to refuse the easy paths that do not align with the purpose I have entrusted to you. You will have to learn to discern between the invitation of comfort and the call of glory. Comfort promises immediate safety. Glory asks you to trust me with what you cannot yet see. My beloved child, I do not promise that this journey will be without tears, but I do promise that not a single tear will fall without carrying a seed of transformation. I do not promise that you will always feel strong, but I do promise that when you are weak, my power will be revealed in its fullness. I do not promise that you will always be acknowledged by others, but I do promise that you will never be forgotten by me. There will be times when you look around and realize that you are different. Do not fear that difference. It is not a sign that you are misplaced. It is a sign that you are set apart. I do not set you apart to leave you isolated, but to keep you from being diluted. What I have placed within you must be protected from subtle compromises, from unseen pressures that urge you to become like everyone else. You are not called to copy. You are called to reflect. And when the time comes, not because you force it, but because I appoint it, you will see what I do through you begin to spread, not with noise, but with life. Those who encounter your life will not only remember you, they will encounter me. The places you step into will not merely be reorganized, they will be reborn. not because you are greater, but because you made room for me to act. My beloved child, be patient in this season of building. Deep foundations take time. Do not compare your process with that of others. For what I am doing in you has its own shape, its own rhythm, and its own purpose. Do not lose heart when your path appears narrower. Narrow paths often lead to glory. Do not fear the many things you are asked to release. Only empty hands can receive what is new. Remember this, when you grow weary, I did not call you into comfort, I called you into glory. Glory is not the place where you are served, but where you become an instrument, not where you are exalted, but where my name is revealed. And within that glory, you will find a joy far deeper than any temporary ease. Remain in me, my child. Let the anointing I have placed upon you guide each step you take. Do not seek the approval of the world when you already have my approval. Do not fear what you cannot do on your own, for that is precisely where I will do my part. And one day, when you look back, you will understand that everything I led you through, every trial, every shaking, every letting go, was to prepare you for the entirely new work I have been, and am still, building. My beloved child, not a single battle you have walked through has been meaningless, and not a single long night you spent in tears has been wasted. There has always been a deeper reason hidden behind every spiritual battle you have had to face, even when you did not understand it. Even when all you felt was exhaustion and emptiness, the enemy did not attack you at random. He recognized very early what you carried within, and he sensed that this moment was drawing near long before you were awake enough to name it yourself. That is why he struck early, doing everything he could to break you before you could stand upright, to discourage you before you could break through, to bury you beneath the rubble of fear, guilt, and doubt before the destined blossom within you had a chance to bloom. He whispered that you were not strong enough, that you were too fragile, that you had gone too far to turn back, or not far enough to keep going. He used your failures, your mistakes, your painful memories to paint a distorted picture of who you are. There were days when you felt surrounded on every side, as if there were no way out, as if the light itself had departed. But, my child, what he could not see and will never be able to control was my enduring presence with you throughout that entire journey. I have never left you, not for a single moment. When you reached your lowest depths, where there were no words left to pray and no tears left to cry, I was closer to you than your own breath. When you curled inward in utter exhaustion, believing you had been left behind, I was wrapping you in my very presence. You did not feel it, not because I was absent, but because pain had numbed your senses. Yet even when you could not perceive me, I was still there, steady and unshaken. When you were depleted of all strength, when you no longer had the energy to fight, to explain, or even to hope, it was my strength that sustained you. You thought you were still forcing yourself to move forward, but in truth, you were being carried. There are stretches of the road you do not remember how you crossed, because I carried you through them. When your legs could no longer hold you, I became the ground beneath you. When your hands fell limp, I became your support. When you could no longer believe in tomorrow, I held your future in my hands. There were moments when you doubted yourself at the deepest level. You questioned your motives, questioned the calling within you, questioned whether you were truly chosen or merely deceiving yourself. But, my child, throughout every one of those wavering moments, I never doubted you. not because you always did everything right, but because I know exactly what I placed inside you. I know how deep that seed is, how resilient it is, and that no storm can uproot it from your soul. The enemy sees only your fractured present. I see a future already being shaped. He looks at the cracks and calls them evidence of failure. I look at those same cracks and know they are where the light will pass through. He believes that by slowing you down, wearing you out, and filling you with doubt, he can delay or destroy my purpose. But he is mistaken, for in the slowing down, I was driving your roots deeper. In the weariness, I was teaching you to rely on me rather than on yourself. In the doubt, I was refining your faith, separating it from illusion. You were not broken, you were being shaped. You were not discarded, you were being refined. What you called being attacked was often proof that you were approaching a new threshold. For if nothing of value were growing within you, the enemy would not have wasted his time targeting you. But he did, again and again, because he feared what would happen when you stepped fully into your rightful place. My beloved child, look back and recognize this, though battered. You are still standing here. Though misunderstood, abandoned, and silenced, you have not been erased. That is not because you are stronger than others, but because my hand has never left your life. I shielded you in battles you did not even know you were fighting. I intercepted blows you never saw coming. I closed dangerous doors that, had they opened, you would not be here today to tell this story. And now, my child, the time has come. The things I planted within you are no longer meant to remain hidden in the darkness of preparation. The painful lessons are ready to become living wisdom. The wounds that have been healed are not only for your freedom, but so that you may become an instrument of healing for others. It is time for you to step out of the role of survivor and into the role of one who is sent. What the enemy tried to bury will now become fertile ground. The years he used to discourage you will become evidence of my faithfulness. The tears you shed in silence will now water the seeds of a new season. You do not step forward in pride, nor to prove anything to anyone. You step forward with the humility of one who has been upheld, and with the certainty of one who knows they do not walk alone. My beloved child, do not be afraid when you sense new life rising within you. Do not fear when you realize you no longer fit into old frameworks. Do not fear when your voice becomes clearer, your steps more steady, and the light within you less easily hidden. That is not you becoming different. It is you becoming who I created you to be. Remember this when you look back on the battles you have endured. The enemy tried to stop this moment, but he failed. Not because he was weak, but because I am stronger. Not because you were perfect, but because I am faithful. And that same faithfulness will continue to lead you not merely through, but into. Now rise not with strain, but with assurance. Step forward not in your own strength, but in trust. Allow what I have placed within you to be revealed in my timing, in my way. For you are no longer in a season of being broken. You are standing at the threshold of breakthrough. And what is about to bloom through your life will cause both you and those around you to recognize this truth. No battle was ever wasted, and not a single promise of mine has ever failed. My beloved child, I want you to listen very carefully, not with your physical ears, but with the depth of a soul that has been refined through many seasons. What is coming into your life is not a medal for perfection, nor a reward for a flawless record. If everything I give were reserved only for those who never stumble, then none of you could stand. What I am preparing for you flows from a place far deeper than performance from the promise I have spoken. and from my unchanging nature of faithfulness. I do not act because you have done enough. I act because I have said I would, and I never betray my own word. You have grown accustomed to living in a world where everything must be earned through effort, where worth is measured by results, where mistakes are quickly recorded and used to sentence the future. But my kingdom does not operate that way. When I bless, I do not place you on a scale of merit. I place you into covenant. And covenant is not built on human inconsistency, but on the faithfulness of the one who establishes it. I do not change my decision when you are weak, nor withdraw my promise when you fall. I remain who I am, and because I am who I am, what I have spoken will stand until it is fulfilled. My child, I am faithful to myself. This is what you must understand deeply. When I speak, I do not speak to fill silence or to offer temporary comfort. My word carries within it the power to accomplish. It does not return to me empty. It goes forth. It works. It moves through time, circumstances, resistance, and even doubt, until it completes what I sent it to do. You may forget my word. You may question it. You may think it has missed its moment. But my word never forgets itself. Therefore, I tell you this: do not look at your present circumstances and rush to judge your future. Do not use one moment to conclude an entire lifetime. Do not let one difficult season define the whole journey. What you see now is not the ending, it is a turn in the road. And at turns, vision is always limited. You do not see what lies ahead not because it does not exist, but because where you are standing does not yet allow you to see farther. But I see. I stand at the end of the road, and I am also standing right beside you now. There are moments when you think everything is going in the wrong direction, when what you hoped for seems to be drifting farther away, when your prayers feel as though they are suspended in midair. But, my child, silence does not mean absence. Delay does not mean denial. Some things, if given too early, would cause you to collapse. Some answers, if released before you have enough depth, would become a burden rather than a blessing. That is why I lead you through these turns, not to mislead you, but to realign you according to the right order. The story of your life is being rewritten by my own hand, not overwritten through the denial of the past, but continued through redemption. I do not erase old chapters. I transform their meaning. Pages once soaked with tears will become the foundation for pages filled with hope. Passages that seemed like dead ends will become turning points. And the ink I use to write is not ink that fades with time. It is eternal ink, unblurred by adversity, unwashed away by accusation, never exhausted by human weakness. I write this story with mercy, not with judgment. If I wrote with judgment, you would have lost your place long ago. But I delight in restoration, not punishment. My mercy does not close its eyes to truth. It faces truth in order to heal. It does not ignore wounds. It touches them to transform them. When I write with mercy, I do not make you weaker. I raise you up without the chains of shame. I also write with hope, not despair. My hope is not fragile, not speculative, not a maybe. My hope is anchored in what I know will surely come to pass. When I place hope within you, I am not dreaming. I am declaring the future. Even when you no longer have hope for yourself, I still hold hope for you. Even when you see only full stops, I am placing commas, and I write with power, not weakness. That power does not always reveal itself through spectacular displays before human eyes. Often, It works through patience, through process, through quiet yet steady change. My power can lift you from places where you thought you would never rise again. It does not need permission from circumstances. It is not limited by what you lack. It simply requires your obedience and trust to flow. My beloved child, I know there are days when you look around and see only broken pieces. You wonder whether those fragments can ever be assembled into something beautiful. I tell you, I am the one who specializes in working with broken pieces. I am not confused by disorder. I am not discouraged by unfinished things. My hand does not tremble when it touches your life. On the contrary, within that very chaos, I am forming a new composition, a story deeper, truer, and more full of life than you ever imagined. So do not rush to condemn yourself when you look at the present. Do not say, "It's too late," "It's ruined," or "That's not for me." Those words do not come from me. As long as I have not said, "It is finished," the story is not over. As long as I have not closed the book, new lines are still being written. You may be in the middle of a difficult chapter, but it is not the final one. Learn to stand still in faith, even when you do not fully understand what I am doing. Learn to rest in the promise, even when your emotions waver. You do not need to protect your future with anxiety. I am guarding it. You do not need to push the promise with impatience. I know the right time. All you need is to remain in me. Be faithful in the step you are taking, and let me continue writing. One day, you will look back and realize that what you once called delay was actually preparation. What you called loss was really reordering. What you called failure was actually redirection. And you will understand that without those turns, you would not have had the depth required to carry what I was giving you. My beloved child, keep your heart open to the work I am doing. Do not let present fear dim eternal promise. Do not let what you see with your eyes overshadow what I have spoken with my mouth. I am writing your story with unfading ink. And when I write, I do not rush. I do not err. And I do not write only to regret. Top of form, my beloved child. Listen with deep attentiveness, for you are stepping into a new rhythm, a spiritual cadence, being accelerated by my own hand. What once seemed to require years of weary waiting will now unfold within a very short span of time. Not because you have suddenly become stronger, but because I am compressing time according to my order. Delays that once felt permanent are being reversed. Doors that stood shut in silence and fatigue are opening in ways you did not expect. I am doing what you could not do for yourself. I am breaking old inertia, releasing you from prolonged cycles of waiting, and carrying you into a new current. You will see deserts turn into flowing rivers not by illusion, but by real life. Places that were barren from lack of hope will become abundant. Places that were scarce and unfruitful because of fear and self-doubt will burst into bloom. Places that were forgotten, pushed into the shadowed corners of memory, will be redeemed and placed at the center of purpose. What I am doing is not merely changing the outward landscape. I am transforming the soil within you. The place where seeds sown long ago now have enough moisture to break through the ground. Do not be surprised when things move faster than your reasoning can explain. Spiritual acceleration does not come to confuse you. It comes to confirm that the season of preparation is complete. The lessons you learned in silence, the long nights you stood firm when no one saw, the times you chose faithfulness in small things, all of these are converging. When I speed up the process, I do not bypass depth, I release it. You are not thrown into a future for which you are unready. You are brought in at the right moment because you are ready. I am also changing you and this is more important than any external shift. You will notice that you no longer react as you once did. Triggers that once awakened fear are losing their power. Pressure increases, yet you do not shrink back. You rise with it. Not because you have become hard, but because your inner spine has been strengthened. You are no longer carried by the rhythm of anxiety. You align your rhythm with peace. You no longer flee when headwinds blow strong. You learn how to move forward within the wind. This change will reveal itself through very ordinary choices. You will pause before reacting, listen before answering, and walk with discernment instead of haste. You will no longer fear what once made you tremble, not because it disappears, but because you have grown. You will no longer retreat when responsibility expands. You will receive it with open hands, knowing that I am present in every decision. The fear that once whispered, "You are not enough," will fall silent as you step into the space of grace, where enough does not come from your ability, but from my presence. My child, some changes will come so quickly that you will have to relearn how to trust. You will need to release the habit of measuring progress by old signs. I am teaching you to read new signs, signs of life, peace in the midst of movement, clarity in the midst of uncertainty, stability under pressure. You will understand that acceleration does not mean chaos. It is order intensified when everything is ready to take its place. The doors that open will not only lead you to opportunity, they will lead you to responsibility. Spiritual acceleration is not a privilege for display, but an invitation to serve more deeply. You will find yourself placed in spaces that need healing, at crossroads that require wisdom, within settings that call for compassion. I am not bringing you there to be admired. I am bringing you there to bring life. And you will do this not by your own strength, but by the flow of the Holy Spirit at work within you. At times you will ask, "Why me?" Remember this: I did not choose you because you have no cracks. I chose you because you know how light passes through the cracks. You understand pain, so you know how to heal. You understand waiting, so you know how to endure. You understand fear, so you know how to stand. The very things you once wished you had never endured have become the language through which you speak to the world, the language of real hope. In this accelerated rhythm, I will ask you to keep the discipline of listening. Do not let speed disorient you. Anchor the rhythm of your heart to mine. Examine your motives in stillness, and let your decisions be born from peace, not from the pressure to seize. When you remain within this order, acceleration will not exhaust you, it will make you effective. You will see what was once scarce become abundant, not only resources, but creativity, connection, and courage. Ideas will come more quickly. Solutions will appear at the right moment. The right people will meet you at intersections that are not accidental. Places that were forgotten within you and around you will be redeemed, restored to their proper place, and infused with new life. You will look back and realize, I did not merely open a path, I reshaped the terrain. My beloved child, let this word anchor you as momentum increases. I live within you, and I do not fail. This truth is not a slogan, it is a foundation. When pressure rises, you rise with it, not by stubborn resistance, but by presence. When trials draw near, you step forward with light, not in arrogance, but in trust. You are no longer a person of reaction, you are a person of response. You are no longer driven by fear, you are led by hope. And to seal this in your heart, let this scripture soak into every step you take. Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? Isaiah 4:3-1-9. This word does not only speak of what I am doing, it invites you to see. When you see, you will walk in the right rhythm. When you walk in the right rhythm, acceleration becomes a blessing, not a burden. Prepare for changes that move quickly, yet walk slowly in wisdom. Welcome the open doors, yet keep your heart tender. Rejoice in the river that is flowing, but never forget the source. I am making all things new in you and through you. And as you stand in the midst of this movement, you will realize you are not merely moving faster, you are moving truer. You are not merely arriving sooner, you are arriving on time. For I am in you, and what I begin, I will bring to completion in power, in mercy, and in a hope that never runs dry. My beloved child, I want you to hear this with a deep and settled assurance. I have never forgotten a single prayer of yours. It is not only the prayers spoken clearly and eloquently that reach me, even the words you dared to whisper in the dark, the broken cries caught in your throat, the petitions dissolved into tears and silence, all of them I have gathered. There has never been a moment when you turned toward me that drifted away into nothingness. Every sigh, every time you lifted your eyes only to lower them again in weariness, has been remembered by me with the tenderness of one who understands every beat of your heart. Those prayers have not remained suspended in empty space. They come before me like rising incense, not showy, yet persistent, not loud, yet penetrating. Some prayers you have repeated through the years, others you spoke only once and then tucked away, afraid to hope again. I know them both. I also know the prayers you never managed to name, the longings you buried deep because you thought you should no longer expect anything. But, my child, what you do not dare to hope for, I am still able to give. What you do not dare to believe, I am still able to do. And now I say to you, the answer is on its way. Not every answer comes in the form you once imagined, but every answer comes in the form you truly need. At times you asked for a door, and I gave you a path. At times you asked for change in someone else, and I changed you instead. At times you longed for a quick solution, and I gave you a lasting peace. Do not be too quick to assume that I am silent simply because the answer has not arrived in the shape you prescribed. My wisdom is greater than your expectations, and my love is deeper than anything you can imagine. Prepare to be surprised, my child, not because I delight in shocking you, but because I delight in widening the vision of my children. I take pleasure in appearing in ways that silence the skeptic, not through argument, but through living truth. I take pleasure in unsettling the wisdom of this world, not because it lacks intelligence, but because it relies more on its own systems than on a heart open to grace. When I act, I do not need the agreement of the crowd. I need a willing heart. Some answers will come through encounters that seem accidental. Some answers will arrive in a decision you have postponed for a long time. Some answers will come when I close a door you thought you desperately needed, only for you to realize it was protection. And some answers will come through a quiet restoration, when you suddenly notice that you are no longer haunted by what once wounded you. You will look back and see this: I did not only answer your prayers, I rearranged your life so that those prayers could stand on solid ground. My beloved child, I know you have worried that your righteousness would be misunderstood, that what you endured would never be vindicated. But I tell you this: I will vindicate you not through revenge, but through revelation. I do not need you to defend yourself with long explanations. When the time comes, I, myself, will make things clear. I will show them who you are by showing them who I am within you. That revelation will not be loud or bitter. It will be clear, peaceful, and undeniable. My vindication does not lower others. It lifts you into your rightful place. I do not do this so that you may prove yourself right, but so that truth may stand firm. When truth stands, falsehood withdraws on its own. When light is turned on, darkness does not need to be chased away. It simply fades. You will not need to prove your past. Your future will speak for you. You will not need to recount your pain. Your healing will tell a new story. I know there were nights when you wondered whether your repeated prayers grew tiresome to me. No, my child, I do not grow weary of hearing you call. I am not frustrated when you return with the same concern. I am not disappointed when you need time to trust. My love is not worn thin by your weakness. On the contrary, it is precisely in your weakness that I am invited deeper. And when I am deeper within you, the work I do is deeper as well. Remember this, I do not answer prayers according to human urgency, but according to the rhythm of life. Some things need time to mature. Some fruit needs enough sun and enough rain. Some doors must open only when you have the depth to walk through them without losing yourself. I do not delay because I forget. I wait because I love. I do not withhold because I am stingy. I prepare because I am faithful. You will realize that the answers are closer than you think. Sometimes they are already in your hands in a skill you have been refining, in a relationship that has been healed, in a courage you did not know you possessed. Sometimes they are coming from behind through things I am quietly removing so that you may be lighter. And sometimes they are coming from ahead through opportunities you cannot yet see, but which have already been arranged. Open your heart to recognize the forms grace may take. Do not confine me to the limits of your expectations. To anchor you between waiting and hope, let this scripture sink into you. The Lord is near to all who call upon Him. To all who call upon Him in truth. Psalm 145, 18. I am near, not only when you say the right words, but when you speak from a truthful heart. That nearness is the foundation of every answer. When I am near, nothing is truly far away. My beloved child, prepare for the joy of holy surprise. Not a noisy joy, but a quiet joy that warms your heart and brightens your eyes. I will do things that make you smile through tears, that cause you to say, I never expected this, and then realize it was exactly what you needed. I will silence those who doubted with the evidence of life. I will cause those who judged you to reconsider, not because you argued back, but because I revealed myself. Stand still in trust. My child, do not rush to vindicate yourself. Do not strain to demand justice in the ways of the world. I know who you are. I know what you have prayed. I know what you need. And I am acting at the right time, in the right way, in the right rhythm. When the answer comes, you will know that not a single prayer was forgotten, not a single tear was overlooked, and not a single promise of mine ever fell into emptiness. Open your heart and prepare. What I am bringing will not merely solve a problem, it will open a new chapter. I do not only answer, I transform. I do not only give, I remain with you. And when I am with you, you will see that the greatest miracle is not what I do around you, but what I am doing within you, a steadiness, a faith, a light that no one can extinguish. Beloved child, engrave this deeply within your heart. With great blessing always comes great responsibility. When I enlarge the territory of your life, I also enlarge your heart to carry what I entrust to you. Blessing is not merely something to be enjoyed, it is something to be stewarded. Grace is not only something to be received, it is an invitation to live in a way that honors the holiness of the one who gives it. Therefore, amid all that is being added, amid doors opening and answers drawing near. I call you to remain in a very specific posture: humility, surrender, and holy wonder. Guard humility, not the kind that shrinks back, but the humility that knows before whom it stands. When you know that I am the giver, you will no longer feel the need to prove that you are worthy. When you know that I am the source, you will not fear loss. When you know that I am the center, you will not lose your way. This kind of humility does not weaken you, it steadies you. It keeps you in the right alignment so that blessing does not intoxicate you, and success does not cause you to forget who you are. Remain in surrender, not blind surrender, but conscious surrender. Surrender is placing your own will beneath the light of mine, choosing to listen when you want to speak, choosing to wait when you want to run. Surrender does not silence your voice, it refines it. So you speak the right word, at the right time, in the right way. In surrender, you learn to discern between what is merely possible and what is truly appointed, between attractive opportunities and your true mission. In surrender, you allow me to set the rhythm of your steps, so that each step is not only fast, but faithful. Keep your soul in a posture of wonder, wonder not at novelty, but at presence. There is a holy trembling I want you to preserve, not trembling from fear, but from reverence. It is the moment you recognize that I am here, that what you are touching is not merely achievement, but grace at work. When you still know how to marvel, you will not take lightly what I am doing. When you still know how to tremble, you will not turn blessing into routine. Beloved, guard your heart carefully. Pride does not arrive with a roar. It comes as a quiet whisper, I did this myself. It takes root when you begin to believe that the gift defines you more than the giver. It grows when you measure your worth by outcomes and measure others by how far they stand from you. I warn you not to frighten you, but to protect you. Pride does not remove blessing all at once. It bends direction, and a bent direction, left uncorrected, will lead you far from the source. Do not exalt the gift above the giver. The gift is good, I gave it. Talent is good, I placed it. Influence is good, I permitted it. But when you lift the gift higher than me, you place yourself in danger. The gift cannot carry you through the valley, I can. The gift cannot heal your heart, I can. The gift cannot keep you standing when the winds shift, I can. Love the gift as a tool, not as an identity. Use influence as a responsibility, not as a throne. Remember this, everything I give you carries a purpose of service. When I give you more, I expect your hands to open wider. When I place light upon you, I expect you to illuminate, not conceal. When I lift you up, I expect you to bend down and lift others. Blessing remains healthy when it flows through you. It becomes heavy when you hoard it. Train your heart, therefore, in the rhythm of giving, the rhythm of generosity, of mercy, of gentle justice. In the seasons ahead, you will be entrusted with weighty decisions. Remember, not everything permissible is beneficial, and not everything beneficial aligns with your calling. When you face choices, ask me, does this keep me in humility? Does this strengthen surrender? Does this preserve my wonder before your presence? These questions will guard you more securely than any strategy. Beloved child, there will be times when I allow you to succeed quietly, so you are not swept away by noise. There will be times when I allow you to be seen, so you learn to stand steady under the gaze. In both, I am teaching you the same lesson. I am the center. When you are seen, return the glory to me. When you are unseen, Rejoice that I am still at work. Do not let the spotlight blind you. Do not let the shadows make you doubt. I know there will be days when you feel the weight of responsibility. Do not carry it alone. Lay it down before me. Great responsibility is not borne by personal strength, it is carried by grace. When you are weary, return to the source. When you are confused, return to the Word. When you rejoice, return to worship. This returning keeps you ordered, keeps you tender, keeps you alive. Let this word anchor you, and let Scripture remind you of what is foundational. God opposes the proud but gives grace to the humble. Grace flows where humility dwells. Protection abides where surrender lives. Vitality remains where there is still wonder before my presence. When you keep yourself in these places, you do not merely receive blessing, you are preserved within blessing. Beloved, let reverence guide your joy. Joy does not need to be loud to be real. True joy has depth, roots, and peace alongside it. When you rejoice in me, you will not need to compare. When you rest in me, you will not need to prove. When you love me more than the gift, you will use the gift rightly. I remind you of these things not to burden you, but to free you, free from the need to defend an image, free from the fear of losing position, free from the temptation to elevate yourself by diminishing others. When you know that I am your all, you need nothing else to complete you. When you know that I am the source, you do not fear depletion. When you know that I am the giver, you do not fear tomorrow. So walk on, beloved child, with open hands and a bowed heart. Receive blessing with gratitude, and carry responsibility with reverent awe. Use everything I entrust to you to glorify my name, to heal broken places, and to make a way for others. Do not forget I am the giver. I am your everything. And when you keep me at the center, all that I give will fall into its proper place, proper rhythm, and proper purpose, so that you are kept safe. Others are lifted up, and my name is revealed through a life marked by humility, surrender, and an ever-living wonder before my presence that never runs dry. Beloved child, I have been your source of hope from the beginning, and I will remain so forever. When everything around you shifts, when the pace of life presses in and leaves you breathless, keep your eyes fixed on me. Do not stare too long at the waves, lest your heart begin to waver. Look instead to the one who stands firm in the midst of every upheaval. Hold fast to me, not with anxious tension, but with the gentle trust of a soul that knows it is being kept. When you do this, I will lead you not only along paths that have already been drawn, but into places for which no map exists. For there are realms of grace that cannot be found with natural sight. They are entered only through obedience and trust. You may ask yourself how to walk when you cannot see the way. But, my child, it is precisely then that I am teaching you to hear my rhythm rather than rely on human markers. I do not call you to live by visible certainty. I call you to live by presence. When you stay close to me, that presence becomes light enough for each step not to show you the entire journey, but to keep you from stumbling in the next one. You do not need the whole map, you need my hand. Look back and remember those who have gone before you, not to compare yourself with them, nor to linger in nostalgia for days gone by, but to learn how I have led each generation. Their journeys are not faded legends of a distant past. They are living testimonies that still speak to you today. They stood at crossroads no less obscure, faced trials no less severe. They, too, trembled, waited, and had to let go. Yet in those very moments, I revealed myself to be faithful. Learn from their obedience, obedience not born of full understanding, but of trust strong enough to take the next step. Learn from their stumbles, not to repeat their mistakes, but to see that I do not abandon anyone because of weakness. Learn from the way they rose again, not by their own strength, but by grace. Their stories do not lie dormant in books. They breathe. They live. And they whisper to you, the one who acted then is still at work today. The very spirit who moved in them is now moving in you. Do not think that because the times have changed, power has diminished. I am not depleted, nor have I altered my nature. The Holy Spirit does not choose generations to display power. He chooses willing hearts. When you open your heart, when you place yourself within my order, that current will flow through you not to make you prominent, but to make you useful. You will notice gentle promptings, subtle leadings, small adjustments that prove decisive. Do not despise small beginnings. Many times, I begin there. The same fire that refined them will also refine you. That fire does not come to destroy, but to purify. It is not aimed at who you are, but at what does not belong to you. There are layers of fear, self-doubt, quiet compromise. The fire will touch them so that you may be free. Do not fear the fire. Fear holding on to what keeps you from soaring. When you are in me, the fire becomes light, not ashes. And the same arm that carried them through every hardship will carry you through every trial. That arm does not grow weary, does not tremble, does not delay. At times you will feel lifted from familiar places. At times you will find yourself set down in unfamiliar lands. In both, my arm remains supporting you when you are weak, guiding you when you are lost, shielding you when you are weary. You do not need to prove that you are strong. You need to stay close to me. Beloved child, do not let loneliness make you forget that you stand within a long history of faith. You are not the first to walk the narrow way, nor will you be the last. There is a great cloud of witnesses who have gone before, leaving behind footprints of faithfulness. When you grow tired, remember them. When you are confused, listen to them, but do not stop with them. Move forward with me, for I do not call you to live by memory. I call you to live by life. There will be days when you see no obvious progress. Do not lose heart. Seeds grow in the dark before they rise into the light. There will be days when trials come one after another. Do not panic. Metal must remain in the fire long enough to become strong. There will be days when doors open unexpectedly. Do not grow proud. Grace goes before you. You do not go before grace. In all these days, keep your eyes fixed on me. I want you to learn how to walk without having every answer. Learn how to love without every guarantee. Learn how to obey without every explanation. This is not recklessness. It is maturity. Maturity is knowing where to place your trust. When you place your trust in me, you do not misplace it. I do not promise that the road will always be smooth. I promise that I will be with you on the road. To anchor you in this truth, let the words of Scripture echo in your heart. The Lord is my strength and my shield. My heart trusts in Him, and I am helped. Psalm 28:7. Where does strength come from? From me. Where does protection come from? From me. Where does help come from? From me. When you remember this, you will not seek another source. Beloved child, walk with your eyes fixed on me and your feet ready. Do not let the noise of the world throw you off rhythm. Do not let comparison slow your steps. Do not let fear make you cling to what I am inviting you to release. Hold fast to me, not because you are weak, but because I am enough. When you hold fast, I lead. When I lead, I protect. When you stumble, I lift you up. One day, you will look back and realize that the places without a map were the places where you learned the most about me and about yourself. You will see that the fire made you brighter, not smaller. You will see that the arm that carried you through trials also taught you how to carry others through theirs. And you will understand that the most precious thing was not the destination, but the relationship that kept you steady throughout the journey. Go on, my child. I am your source of hope always. Keep your eyes on me. Hold fast to me. Learn from those who have gone before, but walk in your own calling. For the Holy Spirit is at work within you. The fire is refining you, and my arm is guiding you today, tomorrow, and until everything I have promised is fulfilled in your life. Beloved child, as you continue to walk this path, I want you to understand one thing clearly. You are not merely going somewhere, you are becoming someone new. Every step you take with me does not only change circumstances, it is reshaping the deepest parts of who you are. There are things I cannot give you if you remain the person you were yesterday. That is why I do not rush. I do not pressure you. I lead you slowly enough that you do not lose your soul, yet steadily enough that you do not turn back. There will be stretches where you feel as though you are walking alone. Do not let that feeling deceive you. There are seasons when I draw so near that you can no longer tell where my voice ends and your heartbeat begins. I am close enough that it feels like silence, when in truth I am moving in rhythm with you. In those seasons, you learn to walk not by emotion, but by trust. You learn that faith is not always a burning feeling. Often it is a quiet, unwavering decision to keep moving, even when nothing seems to be changing. My child, there are things I am keeping hidden from your eyes, not because I am withholding, but because you do not need to see them yet. If I showed you the entire picture, you would be tempted to run faster than grace allows. You would try to grasp outcomes without the strength to carry their weight. I love you too deeply to place in your hands anything that could cause you to break. So I show you just enough to believe, just enough to step forward, and just enough to depend. There will be moments when you must choose between being understood and being led. Hear me clearly, not everyone will understand the path you are walking. Not everyone will affirm the decisions you make. Some will say you have changed, that you are no longer who you once were. They are not wrong. You have changed. But this is not distance, it is growth. When you no longer live for approval, you begin to live in alignment with your calling. And when you live in alignment with your calling, your silence becomes a testimony stronger than any explanation. I also want you to know that the challenges ahead are not signs that you are on the wrong path. Often, they are proof that you are walking very rightly. Increasing pressure is not meant to crush you, but to reveal you. What does not belong to me will not withstand the weight of the new season. What is built on sand will collapse. And when that happens, do not be afraid. I do not remove things to punish you. I remove them to free you. I do not tear down to leave you empty. I tear down to make room for what is more enduring. Beloved child, learn to distinguish between loss and rescue. Some things you once called loss were, in truth, me saving you from them. Some relationships you clung to with tears would have suffocated your future if I had not cut them away. Some doors you knocked on endlessly did not open, not because I did not hear you, but because there was no life for you beyond them anymore. I closed them to protect you, not to reject you. You will step into new spaces, places where you no longer have to strain to be allowed to stay. Places where you do not need to dim your light to keep others comfortable. Places where your presence is not questioned, but welcomed as part of a greater design. Do not be afraid when you no longer fit where you once did. That does not mean you were wrong. It means you have grown. In the seasons ahead, I will teach you the value of stillness. Not everything powerful is loud. Not every victory requires applause. There are battles you win by not engaging. There are times you move forward by standing still. When you learn to be quiet before me, you will hear things the noise of the world will never allow you to hear. And it is in that stillness that I will recalibrate your direction gently, yet decisively. I will also teach you that not every open door comes from me. Discernment will become increasingly vital. You will encounter opportunities that seem attractive, reasonable, and perfectly timed in the eyes of the world. But you must learn to ask me before stepping through. What is good is not always what is right. What is right will always draw you closer to me, even when it asks you to wait longer. Refuse more, and trust deeper. Beloved child, I am training you to become a refuge for others. What you have endured was not only for your survival, but to give you the capacity to uphold others. You will meet weary souls, people standing where you once stood. Do not rush to offer solutions. Be present. Do not hurry to fix. Listen. Often, what they need is not an answer, but someone who has been there and is still standing. Your presence refined through trial will tell them this: there is still a way forward. You do not need to rush to become a destination. Be faithful to the step you are on. I do not measure your life by speed, but by faithfulness. Every day you choose trust over control, obedience over argument, love over bitterness. You are building something time cannot destroy, and even when you do not feel it, I delight in watching you grow in truth. There will be times when you are tired. When that happens, do not feel ashamed. Come closer to me. I do not demand unceasing strength from you. I only invite you to remain. When you are weak, I am strong. When you are empty, I am full. When you have no words left, I understand. Do not run from seasons of weakness. Let them lead you into deeper dependence on me. And, my child, remember this to the very end of the journey. I have never been in a hurry with you. I do not compare you to others. I do not pressure you to become anyone else. I delight in your process, even the slow steps, even the stumbles, even the unanswered questions. For all of it is weaving a life that is real, not a copy. Think of Mary, a young woman of no distinction, no power, no status, with no shield of protection other than a heart that knew how to listen. She had no map for the future, only a call that broke into the quiet of ordinary life. When that call came, it did not carry familiar safety. It carried mystery, risk, and the real possibility of being misunderstood. Mary was not promised that others would believe her, nor was she assured that the road ahead would be smooth. She was simply invited to trust, and in that moment, she chose to place her yes upon the altar of the unknown, not because she understood everything, but because she trusted the one who was calling her. From that humble heart, history turned a new page, not through force, but through surrender. Think of Peter, the hot-tempered fisherman, impulsive and outspoken, often speaking before thinking. He was known not for consistency, but for very public failures. He once stepped out of the boat with blazing faith, only to sink in fear. He once vowed fierce loyalty, then denied his teacher as a fire flickered in the cold night. Yet it was precisely where he broke most deeply that grace reached most profoundly. Peter was not chosen because he never failed. He was chosen because he was willing to return. And when he returned, it was not to prove his worth, but to be restored. From a man who collapsed at a decisive moment, he became a pillar not because his past was erased, but because his past was redeemed. Think of Paul, formerly Saul, a man of zeal, intelligence, and conviction, yet profoundly misdirected. He believed he was serving what was right until a blinding light struck him to the ground. That encounter did not merely alter his beliefs, it dismantled the entire structure of confidence he had built. He had to relearn how to see, how to listen, how to walk from the darkness of blindness into the light of calling. Saul was not slightly adjusted to become better. He was transformed at the root to become new. And the one who once inspired fear in many became a messenger of hope to the nations. 3 people, 3 paths, 3 distinct temperaments, yet one red thread runs through them all. None was called because of perfection. Mary was called in silence. Peter was called amid repeated stumbles. And Paul was called through collapse. What made them essential was not their starting point, but their response. Not all of them were strong by the world's definition, yet each was courageous in the way grace invited them to be. Beloved child, look at them and recognize yourself. At times you are like Mary, invited to trust without evidence, asked to say yes amid unanswered questions. At times you are like Peter, zealous yet unsteady, loving deeply yet fearing deeply as well, stepping out only to long to retreat. And at times you are like Paul, firm in what you believe until the light of truth forces you to stop and begin again. Do not be ashamed of these similarities. It is precisely there that grace finds room to work. What they share most deeply is a willingness to be led. Mary kept her heart open to what exceeded her understanding. Peter kept his heart soft enough to return after failure. Paul kept his heart humble enough to let new light rewrite an old story. None of them clutched the self so tightly that the call was suffocated. None of them turned mistakes into reasons to quit. They did not avoid the fire, they allowed the fire to refine them. Beloved, you are not required to become a copy of any of them. You are invited to learn how they walked, not to wear their form. Learn Mary's listening, how to pause in order to hear, how to bow in order to receive, how to place readiness before safety. Learn Peter's return, how to come back when you have wandered, how to weep when tears are needed, how to rise without condemning yourself. Learn Paul's transformation, how to let light challenge old convictions, how to accept the need to relearn, how to allow a new calling to reshape an entire life. There will be seasons when you are called into silence where no one applauds, no one affirms, yet life is being conceived. Do not despise those seasons. Mary carried the greatest gift in silence. There will be seasons when you must face yourself, your contradictions, your fears, your unfinished promises. Do not run away. Peter met himself by the fire and was restored. And there will be seasons when light unsettles you, when what you once believed is questioned and familiar paths are blocked. Do not be afraid. Paul entered darkness and came to see more clearly than ever. What I seek in you is not achievement, but response. Not a flawless record, but a heart that knows how to return. Not unshakable certainty, but faith that dares to move forward when everything is shaking. When you hold to this, you stand within the same current as those who went before, not to repeat history, but to carry life forward. Beloved child, let their stories soften the harshness you turn against yourself. If Mary could be called amid risk, so can you. If Peter could be restored after failure, so can you. If Paul could be transformed after going astray, so can you. Do not let the past lock the future. Do not let fear silence the call. Do not let pride obstruct transformation. I do not write your story with an old template. I write it with life at work today. Perhaps you stand at the beginning of a new yes. Perhaps you are in the middle of a return that requires courage. Perhaps light is touching you in a way that leaves you unsettled. Wherever you are, remember this: I am there before you. I do not wait for perfection to call. I call so that you may be made whole by grace. Walk with Mary's listening, with Peter's sincerity, and with Paul's devotion not to become great in the eyes of the world, but to be faithful in what has been entrusted to you. When you do, what is great will find you, not through noise, but through depth. And one day you will look back and realize this: you were not only guided, you were transformed. Not only used, you were loved. Not only called, you responded. Beloved child, I am raising you up not by a new or unfamiliar spirit, but by the very Spirit who moved upon those who went before you, the Spirit of life, of power, of faithfulness that transcends time. You feel this inner pull not because you are dreaming or deceiving yourself. There is a deep reason your heart cannot remain still while standing in place. There is a reason you cannot be satisfied with mediocrity, with safe yet hollow cycles. You were born for something greater, not great by the world's standards, but great in the depth of eternal purpose. The anointing upon your life is not cheap. It was not formed in favorable days, nor granted in moments of comfort. It was forged in the furnace where what is false cannot survive, where motives are exposed, where the ego is softened. That furnace does not come to consume you, it comes to refine you. It does not target who you truly are, it targets the layers that do not belong to you. And just as I walked with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego amid the blazing fire, so I am walking with you, not watching from afar, but standing right beside you. You will not be burned. You will step out and not even carry the smell of smoke. This is not because you are stronger than the fire, but because my presence is stronger than every trial. Fire has the power to destroy, but when I am in the fire becomes a place of encounter. You will discover that what once threatened to swallow you has become the ground of your growth. The fears that once shouted will fall silent as you pass through, not because they vanish, but because they no longer rule you. My child, the renewal I am working in you will not end with you. Life is not given to be confined. When my river flows, it seeks to spread. You will become a lighthouse for those lost in the night, not through loud declarations, but through steady light. A lighthouse does not chase ships, it stands firm. And that firmness saves lives. When you stand firm in me, others will find direction not because you are perfect, but because you are trustworthy. You will carry healing oil for wounds not with rigid formulas, but with a presence steeped in compassion. Some wounds do not need advice. They need someone who has walked through darkness and still carries light in their eyes. You will speak words that break chains, not sharp words that wound, but true words that liberate. Chains are loosened not by power alone, but by trust built over time. You will shift the atmosphere simply by showing up, not because you perform, but because you carry me. Atmospheres change when light enters a room. My presence brings order, peace, and hope. When you enter places of tension, tension will settle. When you enter places of despair, hope will be ignited, not because you strive, but because you walk with me. Yet, Beloved child, understand this clearly. Power walks with responsibility. Light requires faithfulness. Anointing must be guarded by inner discipline. You will be invited to choose each day between nurturing my presence or chasing noise, between keeping a tender heart or letting it harden through fatigue. Do not let busyness draw you from the source. Do not let outcomes make you forget the calling. When you stay close to me, I keep you safe in power. There will be seasons when you find yourself in between fire and light, between waiting and breakthrough, between what is past and what is coming. Do not rush. In between seasons are where identity is secured. If you move too fast, you will carry what should not be carried. If you linger too long, you will fear the next step. Walk to my rhythm, a pace slow enough to discern, fast enough to obey. At times, you will need to say no to what seems good in order to keep what is right. At times, you will need to step away from familiar relationships to protect the calling. Do not condemn yourself as ungrateful or cold. True love does not bind through guilt. It blesses in truth. When I reorder your inner circle, I am not making you lonely. I am surrounding you rightly. Beloved child, do not fear being different. Difference is not an accusation. It is a sign of consecration. You are not called to blend in. You are called to reflect. When you reflect me, light will find its way. You do not need to argue to prove. Life will testify. You do not need to shout to be heard. Presence will be felt. I also want you to know that weariness is not failure. Even the anointed need rest. When you are tired, draw nearer to me, do not pull away. Learn to lay down the burden before it becomes a chain. I do not applaud exhaustion. I delight in the wisdom that knows when to stop. In rest, I renew strength. In silence, I realign vision. There will be times when you do not see results immediately. Do not measure power by speed. Seeds grow in the dark. Much of what I do is quieter than you expect, yet more enduring than you hope. When you are faithful with little, I trust you with much. When you are faithful in the unseen, I place you in the light at the right time. My child, I am not only preparing you to do, I am preparing you to be with me, with others, and with yourself in truth. Those you touch will not only remember what you said, they will remember how they felt near you. They will sense peace without pretense, steadiness without display, hope without illusion. This is the mark of my presence within you. So then, my beloved child, lift up your head, not by the strain of your own will, but with the inner certainty that you are no longer alone. Walk forward steadily, not because you can see the whole road, but because you know whose hand is holding yours. Wipe away your tears, not because you deny the pain, but because you understand that pain does not have the right to define the ending. The tears have finished their work. They have softened your heart and opened its deeper layers so that grace could enter. Now is the time to rise, carrying the gentleness born of woundedness, and to move on with clearer eyes. Let joy rise, not the noisy joy of favorable circumstances, but the resilient joy of presence. For the same God who met them in their darkest hour is with you right now, unchanged, near, and unwavering. He stood beside those who came before when every door was shut, when hope was reduced to a single fragile thread, and he is standing beside you in this very moment. When you feel you have only enough strength to breathe, this joy does not deny the darkness. It kindles light within the darkness itself. The same voice that called them by name is calling you, calling not through the crowd, but by your own name. That voice does not blend into the noise of the world. It carries the weight of truth and the tenderness of love. When you hear it, you will realize that this call does not demand you become someone else. It invites you to become yourself, to the healed version, the freed version, the one who is sent. The voice does not rush, it is patient. It does not impose, it persuades. It does not condemn, it upholds. The same hand that once carried them is carrying you. That hand has lifted the fallen, steadied the trembling, and sheltered the weak. And today, that hand is beneath you not to let you fall, not to let you shatter. There are stretches you cannot remember how you made it through, because that hand carried you. There were moments you thought you were merely clinging on. In truth, you were being held. That hand never grows weary, never slips, never lets go. There will come a day when you look back on this season and weep not with sorrow, but with awe. You will be amazed at the endurance placed within you when you believed you were depleted. You will be amazed at doors that opened at the precise moment you thought it was too late. You will be amazed at how the very things that once wounded you became sources of life. The tears of that day will be tears of gratitude because you will see that no step was wasted, no night forgotten. You will say, "See what the Lord has done," not to boast, but to bear witness, not to lift yourself up, but to honor the one who lifted you. Your testimony will not come from theory or doctrine. It will come from the marks of the journey. You will speak of long nights, unanswered questions, moments that nearly broke you, and you will speak of the hand that was there. Those who listen will recognize the truth, not because of eloquent words, but because of the scent of life, the scent of what has been endured and redeemed. You will testify not only from understanding, but from experience. You will speak of faith not as a concept, but as a relationship. You will speak of hope not as a guess, but as an anchor. You will speak of love not as a slogan, but as a force that drew you out of the darkness. And because your testimony is born of experience, it will reach the deepest places in others, the places reason cannot touch. You will not only know my word, you will become its embodiment. The word will take on flesh in your life, in how you listen, in how you choose forgiveness, in how you remain patient under pressure. When you are silent, the word will speak through your peace. When you act, the word will be seen through your righteousness. When you endure, the word will stand firm through your faithfulness. The word will no longer be only on your lips, it will be in the rhythm of your life. You will not merely quote my promises, you will walk in them. You will see promises take the shape of difficult yet right decisions. You will see promises carry the rhythm of steadfast waiting. You will see promises bear the weight of responsibility and grace at the same time. As you walk in the promises, you will not need to persuade anyone. Reality itself will speak. What I have spoken will stand on its own because it is lived out, not merely repeated. Do not call this a fairy tale. Fairy tales avoid suffering. Faith passes through suffering. Fairy tales promise easy endings. Faith promises an abiding presence. This is not an illusion. Illusions evade the truth. Faith faces the truth and transforms it. This is faith, faith with sweat, with tears, with daily decisions. This is a prophetic destiny, not to make you proud, but to place you within a current of purpose greater than your own life. You are part of a lineage of those who are called, not because they are perfect, but because they respond. You are part of a lineage of those who are chosen not because they stand out, but because they are willing. You are part of a lineage of those who are refined not to be consumed, but to shine. This lineage is not defined by bloodline, but by obedience, not measured by achievement, but by faithfulness, not sustained by human strength, but by grace. There will be days when you need to remind yourself of this. When pressure mounts, remember, you are not tested to be discarded. You are tested to be prepared. When you are misunderstood, remember, truth does not need to be defended by argument. It needs to be lived. When you are weary, remember, rest is not retreat. It is grace's strategy. When you succeed, remember, humility does not make you smaller. It keeps you safe. Walk with relaxed shoulders and an open heart. Do not carry the burden of having to prove yourself. Do not cling to the fear of needing to be perfect. Be faithful in small things, for small things are where the word learns to walk. Be faithful in the dark, for the dark is where identity is formed. Be faithful in the light, for the light is where motives are tested. In all three, I am there. And as you move forward, remember that maturity is not always loud. Often it is very quiet, like choosing not to answer bitterness, like waiting one more day, like stepping back to preserve truth. These quiet choices accumulate into strength. When the time comes, that strength will appear, not with spectacle, but with undeniable presence. My beloved child, trust that what I have begun, I will complete. Not hurriedly, not carelessly, not abandoned halfway. You will arrive where I intend, not earlier than grace, not later than purpose. And when you arrive, you will realize that the greatest reward is not only what you have gained, but who you have become along the way, a person who knows how to trust, how to love, how to stand firm. Lift up your head. Walk forward steadily. Wipe away your tears. Joy is rising not because everything is finished, but because I am here. The voice is calling not to make you afraid, but to bring you to life. The hand is carrying you not so you can avoid the journey, but so you can move forward. And as you walk, remember this: you do not carry only your own story, you carry me. Thank you for listening to today's message. Please subscribe and turn on notifications so that together we may receive the living word. Build a steadfast faith and walk in the boundless love of the Lord. Amen.